randoms keep getting jobs. Don't worry about it. I'm going to say, I can't wait to say it. I love it. I love it. Go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the NotBland Show. I'm your host, Dujane Bland, and of course, we're always powered by SportsJourney.com. And today, I have great guests, and we're starting off with the big bad man, Bobby from Competition Plus, the guy who started what we know now is really NHRA media. 24 years, man. You're on the road to 25. How's it feel?
Dude, it was started long before I did. I was just the one that was crazy enough to bring it to the internet.
Quality media, I'll say that then. Well, like I said, he is in Dallas, and we'll let him get squared away there. He's in Dallas and coming up on the Fall Nationals here. And I tell you what, it's going to be one heck of a ride out there. We're right into the second half of our playoffs, and there's a lot of really close races to the countdown to the championship. We've got funny car, at least 3 to 4 cars involved in that points race. Pro Stock Motorcycle is a two-headed monster. It's Gage Herrera or Matt Smith. Matt Smith, 99 back. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on as we get to this. And Bobby, what are you thinking right now with this second half of this countdown? We're really into the nitty-gritty of it all, and there's no room for mistakes now.
If you've got a dartboard, I could probably pick who's going to be champion.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody's got a clue who's going to win it.
I don't either.
Well, except for
Gage.
Except for Pro Stock Motorcycle. I mean, they're all racing for second place. I said that in my last race coverage. I said, you're racing for second place. I don't even know. I would not even show up to a race if I knew somebody had a 500th advantage on me. And the only chance I had to beat him is to sabotage him.
Right. It really, it's tough. Fun. He's dogging the field. I mean, he's just well ahead of everything.
Yeah. It's just call it. It's over with. Race for second place.
And since we're in Pro Stock, when we're talking about Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith made the comment that he felt that having one person making these parts for the Suzukis and it being your rival was something that would cost or question the integrity of drag racing and then that class. What did you think about that? That is strong statements being made about basically Vance and Hines.
Well, Vance and Hines, the bottom line is Vance and Hines doesn't need rule changes or rule advantages to win. They could take a moped out there and win with it. Those guys are just that good.
Exactly.
But when you have the things that went on, like the Harley Davidson thing, when you've got parity that's it's non-existent, then hang it up. I mean,
right.
let's call it like it is. Vance and Hines could win that class with a moped.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, I don't like that it's one person being able to make it. But I've talked to Eddie many times. I feel like I'm pretty close to the guy. They're not going to want to do anything to the class that would diminish it any. I mean, they've worked hard to be able to get the class to people to stay in the stands and actually watch. I mean, I think you remember when Pro Stock Motorcycle used to come up, a lot of times there was hardly anybody in the stands. And now people are actually watching. I wouldn't think that Vance and Hines would want to sabotage what has been built.
You know what the real problem is that Vance and Hines has more knowledge, experience, and money to work with than these other teams.
Yeah.
And you can't fault them. You can't force them to say, look, slow down and give everybody a chance. Why would you do that? It's just like my only time as a defensive coordinator in football, I had this kid that was like 5'8" in like the 4th grade. And he was a big middle. Everybody put him on the defensive line. Well, no, I didn't. I stood him up, middle linebacker. I said, every time that quarterback says, hi, I want him to run for his life. And that's what he did. So after 3 games of us just totally annihilating, it was like the Bears 46 defense, but 1 kid.
Yeah.
And they came back and says, well, you can't blitz anymore. It's not fair. I said, what? I said, you can't blitz. And that was the beginning of the end of my football coaching career. I said, okay, so what did I do the first play of the next game? I blitzed him every play. And after the first series, I was relieved of my duties.
That's funny. I would have done the same thing.
I mean, it's just like, why penalize Vance and Hines because they're good?
Yeah, I mean, I complained about it when Matt was ahead. I complained about it then when they started adding all these rules. It's like you're punishing people for working hard.
Well, the difference between the Harley Davidson days and this day is everybody else has the same opportunity to run that combination. The Harley Davidson thing, it stunk to high heaven. I mean, it stunk.
It did.
But
it wasn't that great.
And I said, again, I'll say it again. You can put them on a moped and they'd win.
Yep. And so looking at Top Fuel, so all of a sudden, here comes Billy Torrance. There's going to be another Capco car out there. And I feel like this could really play big time into these points. And actually could be a blocker because we know this car comes out of the trailer and it runs. It's not like it's going to go and stumble. He goes out there and runs big numbers. So the question is, though, at the end, if they meet, are we going to have another situation like we had last time and they told him to put the car in the trailer?
Got to make it there first.
Hey, absolutely.
Come on, dude. You know your stuff.
Yeah.
Who's won the last 2 Dallas races?
That is
Justin Ashley.
Yeah, Justin with the that is his race. That is his race. But temperatures are going to be really good. Now, the Alan Johnson syndrome came back last week when the track got hot. So
doesn't matter.
You don't think so?
I've seen them stink it up on cold tracks. Haven't you?
Yeah, we have, but he's been really hot on a cold track though.
Yeah, but don't you go with the averages?
You got to.
What the averages tell you?
The averages tell you that 9 times out of 10, he's not going to make it to the final round.
Let's talk about the averages of winner here for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Who's going to tell you he's the one to beat?
Justin.
Okay, then. There you go.
You got to give it to him.
He's going to have a race car underneath him, and he's got the starting line.
Yeah.
So
now, Leah Pruitt.
You bring it all to him. Well, yeah, but still.
She's had a really nice car.
Dallas races.
It is him. He owns it. Okay. Got to go take it from him.
Got to go take it.
She's done pretty good, though, to be where she is right now. And really, they don't have anything to lose.
Take nothing from her. That lady races with all heart. She's been all heart, worked her way up from nothing to Top Fuel.
Yeah.
She's earned her way to that Top Fuel ride.
She sure
earned her way.
She sure has. And has done an exceptional job, especially to be where they are, where they started in the regular season. Very inconsistent. They were trying to find their way and really have started to find their groove right at the right time. This is when you want to get hot. And at least if they can keep it respectable in Dallas, they can keep themselves in position to be able to be in that final, race and have an opportunity to get the championship.
We just wrote on the Road to 25, our new series over at Competition Plus, about Tony Schumacher's 1999 season. And up until that point, with 3 races to go, he had an average of 2.5 round wins that carried him actually to a championship. He only won 1 race that year.
Yeah.
He had 4.
That's incredible.
4 final rounds, but 1 win. So it's a matter of who's going to provide the best batting average that's going to do it. Oh, by the way, have you seen what my Phillies are doing to the Braves?
Ow! Yeah. I mean, punched them right in the mouth. It's a night and day difference, really, because the Braves dominated and looked like they were just going to coast right in. First round shouldn't be a problem, right? And they got punched right in the mouth.
Hey, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, don't they?
Exactly.
I hate the Braves. If you had to grow up in the 70s in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and had to watch the Braves on TV,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, the Braves and the Falcons. Oh, I'd rather have a kidney stone. Oh, dude. Speaking of a kidney stone, what about that game the other day? The Jets and the Broncos. Dude, that was like watching the 76 Buccaneers versus the 77 Buccaneers with Jameis Winston quarterbacking for both teams.
That was ugly.
It was, oh God, it was awful.
That was
It was awful. I made out like a bandit on fantasy football on Team Don't Jab Me Bro. That's my team. Don't Jab Me Bro.
Don't Jab Me Bro.
That's
yeah,
right.
I did not make out so well that week. It's been a rough start in 2 leagues, but my dynasty league is strong. I'm 4-1 coming into week 6. So,
oh, by the way, Travis Kelce is an idiot.
Okay? Man, I don't think that's real.
What?
I don't think that's real. Him and Taylor Swift are that real.
I ain't talking about the girl doing that doggone. I mean, he's getting paid, so I guess he ain't that much of an idiot. But promoting something that may or may not work, forget it.
Yeah.
Dude, I stared that monster down. And I won.
Yeah.
I won. I'm one of the few that won. And
yeah.
That was that. I got it on Friday the 13th on top of that.
Yeah.
So I've had it about 6-7 more times, but everybody talks about I got the COVID. Yeah, you got the cheap Chinese knockoff. I got the one where
you had the real thing.
Somebody stuck their hand up a bat's ass and rubbed it on me. So that's the one I got.
Well, before you go to your party, I have to ask you, who are your champions at the end of this thing?
Wow. Top Fuel, I'm going with the same guy I went at the beginning of the season. Justin Ashland. Funny Car, Caps.
Yeah, he's got a steady hand. I think he'll pull it out.
Pro Stock, Greg Anderson.
That's me too. And that's nothing against Erica, but what he's done, he's pulled himself out, and he looks like that championship Greg Anderson. And I think he's on a roll right now that's going to be very hard to stop.
Yep. Those are my champions.
Well, Bobby, this ain't the first time. This will be the first time, but it ain't going to be the last time. You know that.
Better.
I really appreciate you being on and got a lot of respect for what you do. And I tell people I felt like this year I earned your respect.
Oh, you did. You're absolutely bad to the bone. We got to find a way to bring you in on the ball team there. Bring you in on the team, man. We got a killer team as it is.
You do.
We'll find one more space for you. We like that one dream team. They'll always find a place for a good player.
That's true. I appreciate that, brother.
Competition Plus, when we started, it was AOL 3.0, dial-up, and it was 1999. I mean, when you ask somebody to do this, I don't know what's a e-zine, electronic magazine.
Right.
You're gonna sell me an ad to a magazine I can't take to the crapper with me. Well,
yeah.
technology is going to be in the palm of your hands one day. I don't see this internet thing catching on. So we paved the way for a lot of them, and that's fine. That's the way it goes. There are those who go out and innovate, and then there are those who take the proven method and perfect it, and that's fine. I got no problem. I'm proud to have been able to pave the way for those guys.
Yeah.
But don't forget how you got there.
Exactly.
That's all I say. And we do it the old-fashioned way. We may not be the first out with a story, and we sure the hell ain't going to cut and paste a press release in there. We're going to write an original story like real journalists.
Exactly.
I mean, how does it make you feel to know that I'm the most senior drag racing journalist we got that's been working in the industry the longest? Now, I'm not saying Phil Burgess. Phil Burgess is absolutely
right.
I'd hire him today if I could.
Right.
Phil Burgess is absolutely the baddest of the bad, but he works for the sanctioning body.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of limits. I would love to see how Phil would do being turned completely loose, because I think he would be a bad man.
I do. Yeah, I do. I agree with that.
And the thing is he's like me. He knows where all the bodies are buried. But we have enough integrity and love for this sport that there are some stories that just don't get told.
Yep.
As I'm sure any of the major newspaper journalists, I mean, all you have to do is watch the movie 13 Days about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everything. So, you know, I pray for our world. Our world is in a bad spot right now, and it's only going to keep getting worse. It's not going to get any better. I promise you that.
All we can do is what we can do.
All we can do is look to the skies, because that's where our Redeemer comes from. And I'm not preaching. I'm just a beggar who found bread that's smart enough to tell other people where to find bread.
Indeed.
But the bottom line is you look at me, a guy that didn't even have a high school diploma and ended up becoming a professional journalist. It wasn't on my own merits. I promise you that. I had a lot of divine intervention, a praying mama that died when I was 13 years old that never gave up on me. I had a dad who taught me work ethic. And that's what we do. We get up every morning and we come to work. Are we perfect? No, we'll never be perfect.
Right.
But you can rest assured that when we go to that typewriter, when we go to that computer to type up our story, you can rest assured that we have researched it as best we could, and we're going to tell you the truth and let you make your own decision. We're not like today's biased mainstream media.
Right.
We don't write a story and tell you how you ought to think. We write a story, present the facts from every angle, and let you decide.
That's right.
What a novel approach.
It is. It is. So we will definitely have people come your way. They always do. And man, go have some fun.
I got you. You take
Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. I love it.
You'll be back.
I told you we rocked the house, man.
Yes, sir.
They just got a taste of it. He ain't got me wound up yet. You let me get a couple of monsters in me, boy. We really roll. Dude,
yes, sir.
Anything you want to talk, we'll talk.
All right, brother.
Life, we'll talk. Faith, we'll talk. Politics, we'll talk. Football,
hey, I don't do politics.
Baseball. Politics. Look, this country was founded on people having different beliefs. Everybody is entitled to their own beliefs.
Right. True that.
I may not like what some people do, but it doesn't mean that I don't love them.
Right.
And I don't care about them.
I agree.
I even got kids of my own that I don't like what they do, but I still love them, you know?
Right.
And that was God's simple commandment from day one. Love one another.
Right.
We forgot how to love. And if you take away, there's so many things going wrong in this world that if you take a quarter of an inch, and this world is all the same. Did you know that? Yeah. You know what's a quarter of an inch? The thickness of our skin. Take that off. Right. Tell us what all color we are.
That's right.
We're all the same. And I ain't saying some kumbaya, love, peace, crab legs or whatever we do, but I'm just saying.
Right.
We forgot to love and respect one another. I may not like your views on certain things, but that doesn't mean you don't have a right to it.
That's right.
And things things that happened 150, 200, 300 years ago, you can't change it no more than I can change it. All we
That's
can
true.
change is today, how we treat one another, how we love one another, and respect one another. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
only control we have is what is in front of us.
That's true.
But then we don't even have control of that.
Right.
That's just an illusion. If you think you can control life, you're kidding yourself.
Indeed.
You're kidding yourself.
Just like we can't control who's going to win.
We can in pro stock.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, brother, go have some fun, man.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you.
You too. No problem, brother. Well, that is the man of Competition Plus, and we appreciate him being on. And now we're going to bring in somebody that you guys already know. She is the boss. She was with me through the breakdown, and now she is the CEO of Parks PR. She is the president, the empress, the queen of Double Take Sports. She is your Ravens insider, Carita Parks.
Hello.
What's going on?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Oh, you know,
Love the new show.
Thank you.
Very happy for you.
Oh, I'm happy for you as well. So much great stuff going on. Wizards, Ravens, just everything is just blossoming. And I my cheeks hurt. I smile so much.
Thank you.
Now, looking at these Ravens, we've had 2 games where they have fallen off at the end. This game, past game, guys got Butterfingers or something. I don't know. They eating Cheetos. They eating greasy chicken. I don't know what it is. Where was that game lost last week?
It was lost with all the drops. I mean, my goodness. This was a game where, you know, national media is trying to create this narrative of Brown, Lamar Jackson. And I'm just like, did we watch the same game? Because Lamar had a solid game. His receivers let him down big time. And that's including Mark Andrews, the tight end. Mark Andrews had 2 drops. Zay Flowers had 2 drops. In a critical moment, Zay Flowers was like running and he fell. And that was like an opportunity that was lost. Rashad Bateman dropped an easy one in the end zone. And I was just like, oh, because Bateman has been injured a lot over the past 3 years. He was their number 1 draft pick, and he just hasn't been very available. He's coming off of surgery, and he hasn't been targeted a lot in the 5 games that have been played. So of all the receivers, he needed that catch and he needed that touchdown. Yeah. And it just didn't happen. But that was just, I mean, man, that was a lost one. And then Mark Andrews, he had 2 drops as well. One of his was also in the end zone. So it was just a terrible game for the receivers. There were 3 turnovers, just silly mistakes. I mean, a punt got blocked.
Yeah,
the Steelers safety. There was a point where it was 4th down. It appeared that they went for it, right? And it did not work out. After the game, Coach Harbaugh said that they were trying to run the clock down. The center accidentally, he thought he saw someone line up in the neutral zone or get a penalty or whatever. So he snapped the ball and they had to play, and they got no points out of that. It was a 40-something yard field goal. It would have been, I should say. Justin Tucker, I mean, that's his thing. He can make that.
Exactly.
And then there was that key interception at the end of the game when Lamar, I mean, the crazy part is, of all those mistakes, they were still in the game.
Oh, yeah. Defense kept them in the whole entire time. Yeah. And I'm sick of the narrative with Lamar. It seems to be, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem with national media is, but the bottom line is the guy plays his game, and when he plays his game, he does well. He needed his receivers to step up in that game, and they didn't do that. And that turns me to Odell Beckham Jr. They paid money for him to come in here and to be really the guy that Lamar needed to push them over the hump. And yet, every time I turn around, he's exiting the game, not in the game. I mean, what is the issue with Odell? And if he doesn't get in the game, they're not going to get that rapport that they need to have in moments that are critical and need a big play to maybe send a game and close out a game, or take that step and hit the big play to pull away in that game. What's the deal here?
Yeah, Odell, he's been suffering with an ankle injury. He had the ankle injury in the preseason, I believe, but no one played in the preseason. But if I recall correctly, it started like even before the season. He was able to get through the first game, but then he aggravated it in the second game of the season. And so they set him out a couple weeks and they put him back in the game against the Steelers. But I still don't think he's really overcome that injury. Coach Harbaugh talked about it today, and he said he'll be fine. He says more of like a soft tissue injury.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, until he really feels like himself, then I just think it's going to be difficult, because right now, every time when he got injured in that second game of the season, he like had maybe, he didn't have many catches yet. And then he was injured. And then in the Steelers game, first catch of the game, he had to go to the locker room. He came back out. I don't know what they did, if they had to if it was ankle related or equipment related or whatever.
Right.
But he was not very present in that game as far as targets are concerned. And then Lamar was trying to force it to him at the end of the game, and that's where that interception occurred.
Yeah. And I understand that. I mean, I know other people didn't agree, but I do understand that. We see quarterbacks do it all the time, throw it up to their boy, their big play guy, and say, hey, let's see if you can make a play and elevate. And it just didn't work out.
No, and I don't think with the ankle injury, he can maybe elevate as much as he typically would be able to. And just, it's a tricky balance, right? Because in listening to Odell talk, you know, they want to be cautious about his ankle because he's dealt with some major injuries. And he even said last week that he can't deal with any more heartbreak, but just related to injuries. So I think they're trying to be cautious. They don't want to make it a major injury when right now it's a minor injury, but then he's antsy, I know, to play. So I think it'll all come together at some point as far as Odell is concerned. But I know fans are frustrated because of the fact that he was signed to make an immediate impact. And so far, he hasn't been very available.
Yeah, that's been really tough for them. And, now they're going to London, which I think this is how it usually works out. And I've been paying attention to this. The Ravens left earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Tennessee is leaving a little later.
Right.
The guys who leave earlier usually is the team that wins. Now, Tennessee brings a lot of different elements to the table. You have Derrick Henry you have to worry about, D-Hop. You have Westbrook Akine, who has stepped up and made plays for them. What's going to be the critical point or the critical thing that the Ravens need to focus on taking on the Tennessee Titans? Because to me, they're kind of a similar team of the Steelers with a little bit better offensive play, but they're a team that's just going to slug it out with you.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a little bit of a rivalry there with them that started in the playoffs. So it's not a divisional rivalry, definitely not as heated as like the Steelers rivalry, but it's there. There's some, bad blood between these two teams.
Right.
Well, first of all, on the Ravens side, they're going to have a completely different game offensively than they did last week. Those receivers are going to have to catch the ball. I liked what Lamar was doing in actually passing the ball down the field, because although he's passed the ball this season, Zay Flowers has definitely been his favorite target. He hasn't spread it around as much as I would have thought, but he did that on Sunday. And like I said, his receivers just let him down. So I'm hoping that they can bounce back offensively from that. They cannot have the turnovers, because that's the thing with Tennessee. Like you said, slug it out. they wait until you make a critical mistake. They hang in there, and then they wait until you make a critical mistake. So the Ravens cannot have any mistakes. They cannot beat themselves like they did against the Steelers. Also, Marlon Humphrey's back. We don't know who they're going to have covering D-Hop, but Marlon Humphrey's typically their best corner. So it's possible that they could have him on D-Hop. But Marlon Humphrey's coming back from an injury as well. You know, he played pretty well last week. However, he was the one who gave up that game-winning touchdown. So I have a feeling like Tennessee's going to try to potentially capitalize on the fact that Marlon Humphrey may not be back to regular Marlon Humphrey form. He only practiced a week before he was out playing. So we'll see. But they're going to have to keep an eye on DeAndre Hopkins. And then the run defense. I mean, Derrick Henry, no matter what, he's always going to be a problem. So the defense is going to have to definitely keep their eye on him. But the defense has been playing well, so I believe that they will continue to do their job. But no matter how well a defense is playing, Derrick Henry can always create an issue.
Yeah. And do you think they would, because of Humphrey coming back, may still be trying to find his legs? Maybe they have some safety help over the top with D-Hop. That way they kind of eliminate the big play down the field.
I could definitely see them doing that. Kyle Hamilton's been he's been playing. I told him the other day, I was like, you playing out your mind in that safety position, because safety was his original position, but he didn't play that position last year. They moved him over to safety this year, and he's been having an amazing season so far. So I could definitely see them adding a safety in to help, especially after seeing Marlon Humphrey give up that big play last week. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think defensively they've done an excellent job with what they had. They've been put in some bad positions that have put their backs against the wall because of the turnovers. It's the same thing we saw in the Colts game kind of evolved in this game against the Steelers. Things can get out of hand, and we've seen this in London games. Things can get out of hand really quickly. So they definitely have to come in and establish themselves and don't make the critical mistake, because the tide turns really quickly in London. And we've seen that with the games that we've had so far.
I think they have to be patient, play their game. And you can't let the Titans stick around at all. Like, you got to get out there early and give it to them, because if they stick around, like you said, similar to the Steelers, like they just, it could be an end of the game situation. But I do know, like you mentioned, that they tried to get out there early this time. Last time they played in London, which was, I think, about 6 years ago, they didn't do well. So Harbaugh is trying a different approach by having them out there early this year.
I think that's a smart deal. And like I said, seems like from what I've seen teams do, the ones that have been out there early have capitalized. Jacksonville was out there early in their first game. They won. They stayed there, which they definitely had the advantage. The other team still didn't show up until late. I think that's where they got hurt. They were already over there, acclimated to the time. And I think this is going to, that will help the Ravens right out the gate. They should have the upper hand because they were there already. Now it's just a matter of doing your job.
Agree.
Now, I'm going to ask you some rapid fire things about the NFL. I'm looking at the Los Angeles Chargers, and Brandon Staley still has his job and yet makes the most horrendous decisions in football games. He shouldn't be here right now. How is this man keeping his job?
I mean, how many times have we seen this? And I don't want to go down this road.
Oh, I know where you're going.
But some people get more grace than others.
Mm-hmm.
And why he still has his job, I don't know. But he'll probably have his job all the way till the end of the season.
Yeah. And other folks would have been out of here. And he after that, what he did a week ago likely would have been out of here quick and up the creek. What's up, Darrell? Appreciate you coming in and taking a look here. If you lost your sound, go ahead and go out and come back in. But yeah, that's just me. I don't understand how the Chargers are even remotely still having this guy as a coach. Looks like you lost your mic. You can go back out and come back in. I'll hold it down. There you go. There you go. I can hear you, Carita. Hold on, guys. It's live. If you go back, if you go out, we're going to see if she can go back out and come back in, and we'll finish this thing. But yeah, too many mistakes, too many bad calls over there for the Los Angeles Chargers. And when you look at their team, they have so many great players. They have a great running game that they're able, you can be able to establish. They've had, obviously Eckler's been out a little bit, but I mean, they have people that they can bring in. And can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Now we're going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Play against the 49ers. National media gives them a bunch of excuses. The fact of the matter is you played 3 bad teams. I'm not including Arizona in that because the Arizona Cardinals are a better team than people are giving them credit for. Dak Prescott goes 14 of 24, 153, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. 3. This is who they are, right? I mean, at least that's what I think.
I'm like, this is not uncharacteristic. I mean, we've seen how they've gone through the season and they have like just make it like a 10-7 record or something, And then they get to the playoffs and they play like we saw them play against the 49ers. This is nothing new.
Right. And the excuses that have been
in the season.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Excuses have been made, but the bottom line is you beat a Giants team who is piss poor. You beat a Jets team who was reeling, wasn't using Zach Wilson the way that they should have been using him, and was trying to find their way. You got beat by, the Cardinals, and you got mollywopped by the 49ers. Look, I don't want to hear Jerry Jones mentioning nothing about no Super Bowls no more. The only Super Bowls you going to is in Madden. Period. It ain't happening. Not like this. I've been saying it. I don't trust Mike McCarthy. And I've been making excuses for Dak Prescott. I can't do that anymore. It's starting to be like you are what you are. We can no longer blame the offensive coordinators anymore. Just that simple.
Yeah. And Mike McCarthy, I mean, has he really done much?
Nope. Not at all, really. I mean, he threw Kellen Moore out on his butt, but the fact of the matter is it wasn't Kellen Moore's fault. And not at all. And I think that team is missing Ezekiel Elliott. I really do. They're missing that power back.
Oh yeah, well for sure. I mean, his presence definitely matters.
So one more.
Okay.
One more. Philadelphia Eagles. They've kind of not looked like themselves yet. They've found ways to win. They've been in some very close games. The close game with the Commanders. Is this who they are and they're just getting by? Or are they just trying to find their legs and we will see them improve as the season goes forward?
I feel like they still have room for improvement. I'm not really ready to call it as this is who they are just yet. Like you said, they're still finding ways to win. And, I think this is also part of the Ravens problem too, is a lot of guys don't play in the preseason. So it takes them like a couple regular season games to get their legs under them. I
Right.
mean, with the Eagles coming off a Super Bowl season, you would expect for them to be a little bit more of an engine. But I think because they're still finding ways to win, they're finally going to end up clicking and those wins are going to look better. But being that they're still winning, they got some room.
Exactly. So I think they're going to be fine. I have them making it and obviously make it to the playoffs. I have them winning the division. I don't have them going to the Super Bowl though, but I do think they're going to get better, and I do believe that they're the best team in this division.
Who do you have going to the Super Bowl?
I had the Jags, and what was my other pick? 49ers. It was Jags and 49ers.
The 49ers are looking good. I want to believe so I believe in the Jags. I'm just not sure yet if they could make it to the Super Bowl. They got to get more consistent.
Yes. I think Trevor Lawrence gets back on track this week. They did really well over there. I need more that same energy, that same running style, that same power from ETN.
Yeah.
They have to find better ways and more creative ways to get Calvin Ridley the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Kirk has stepped up a lot. Really didn't expect him to be that guy, but he has turned out to be that guy. And they have to continue. They have to, when they get the ball in the red zone, they have to score. Absolutely. They have to put touchdowns on the board. These field goals don't work against good teams. And if you're going 3 and out a lot when you really shouldn't be that much, it puts a real hurting on the defense. And I think that's why we're seeing at times the defense suffer, is because they're not doing what they need to do and executing regularly on offense.
Yep.
Well, Carita, tell everyone where they can find your work.
Ooh, okay. Well, first of all, you can find me on social media at Carita C. Parks, like my handle on the screen. You could also find a lot of my work for the Wizards and just NBA, NFL as a whole on Double Take Sports. That's at DBL Take Sports on all platforms. I'm a Ravens insider right now for Bowie Television, so follow at Bowie TV Sports.
Yes.
And for all the Ravens coverage, they also do Commanders, so 2 for 1 over there. And yeah, I think that's about it. DoubleTakeSports.com, DBLTakeSports.com. Also, I contribute to Inside the Wizards for SI.com. So a lot of places you can find my work. But if you simply follow me, then I tweet a lot of that out.
You'll see it all. And I've had people, some people that are friends of mine that I grew up with. They're directly paying attention to your Ravens coverage.
Awesome.
It's been wonderful to watch the maturation process. That team over there is strong, and I love each and every one of you guys. And I make sure I try to support. Thank you so much for coming on and taking the time. And this won't be the last time.
No, absolutely not. Thanks for having me. And like you said, it won't be the last time.
All right, Carita, have a good one.
You too.
That's the boss, ladies and gentlemen. And it was fun having her on. Does excellent work. Her and Candy Waller over there at Seawall Sports and Entertainment. Great stuff going on there. And right now, we're going to talk Commanders. And I'm going to bring on my brother, man. He is the CEO and the host of Sports on the Hill podcast. They broadcast every Monday at 9 o'clock. They talk all of your DC sports and more. Carol Porter III, 3CP3. Your mic isn't on. You ain't double mute yourself, did you? We'll let him get that together. We'll bring him back in. Commanders, what we've looked at earlier here. Really, what a ugly Thursday night game where the defense, once again, doesn't show up and does not produce. And I understand, offensively, not very good, but I'll go to the Jets. And the Jets offense wasn't doing very well, especially in that second half of the Kansas City game, yet they were still in it. And their defense held Kansas City to 23 points. At some point, your defense has to do something. Let's see if he's got that fixed there. Bring him back in. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. Had a little technical difficulties.
That'll work. We've had a technical difficulty show. Started out with me, my computer wanting to update itself on its own without asking me. The show starts late.
Been there, done that.
You know? So here we are with that nonsense. And then we've had technical difficulties all night. That's what happens with a live show, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what happens. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. My man, John Hosfeld, man, I appreciate you tuning in. And, man, the support is great. The support's been great from everyone. And we'll get right to it. That Thursday night game was frustrating to watch. And I have, as a reporter, I have never been this mad ever. I was heated with the things that I was seeing. And us being defensive guys, that was the most frustrating thing to watch on Thursday night. Did anybody watch tape? Did Jack watch tape?
All I'm gonna say is, you see this bottle? It wasn't open before Thursday night. That's what they put me through. Because, like you say, as a football, I consider myself a student of the game, someone that's coached defense, someone that played defense. For the first time in my 30 plus years of being around football, I actually had no idea what the hell they were doing.
Me neither.
I went back and looked at the game, I think 3 times now. And with Del Rio, with his deciding to blitz, the only send 4, okay, you want to help out the secondary and leave some in coverage, and you want to try to keep disciplined rush to keep Justin Fields in the pocket, but then you're not sending anybody or spying anybody and giving him free reign to make a sandwich, to get his hair braided, get it twisted, to roll up a doobie, to crack a Red Bull, and then throw the ball to DJ Moore for 230 yards.
Wide open.
So I don't understand the thought process behind it. With EB, 51 passes, 10 rushes, and 4 of those rushes were by your quarterback. You have a starting running back that has 18 starts, and 10 of those starts, he has over 15 carries, and you're 7-2 in one of those games, and you're not running the ball. First 2 weeks of the season, we saw 7 to 10 screens. We're hearing screens are going to be a vital part of the offense to help, get the ball out of Sam's hands and, help the offensive line out. Last 4 weeks, we've seen 3 screens.
Yeah, and I thought the game before, I believe that was the Eagles game, I thought we would have saw more screens to take advantage of that rush, because they like to come upfield. And the way to stop them guys from trying to bum rush upfield is to hit them with a couple of screens, and they'll start thinking a little bit. I will say this about the offense. They were down 27 points before they could blink, and I don't think they had not 1 point yet. Kind of put the offense in a bind. And now, that doesn't mean I agree with them not running the football. At this point, it really doesn't matter. You're trying to do whatever you can to get the ball down the field. But this offense, for the most part, has done an excellent job. It's Jack. And my question to you is it time for a coaching change?
All right. To the first part of that, to your statement, yes, they've been able to move the ball, and unfortunately, it's been times when we've been behind, so they've had to throw the ball. So it looks, and the numbers are good. It looks good that Sam is progressing, but I want to dissect that a little bit more because I was just breaking down the stats for Atlanta upcoming game, and I'm looking at it. Our teams are similar. Both have second-year quarterbacks trying to find their way. Offensive line could be good if they utilize it the correct way, which Atlanta is doing. They're running the ball. Their running back and Brian Robinson have the same amount of carries. Bijan Robinson has a 5.4 yard average. B-Rob has a 4 yard average, but B-Rob has 3 touchdowns. He has 1 receiving touchdown.
Right.
But the difference is there are other players getting the ball rushing also. They are run first team. I'm looking at their stats, and there's nothing that jumps off the board at you, but they're solid defensively. They aren't ranked lower than 15th in any defensive category.
Exactly.
So if they use the strategy of running the ball, strong defense, and letting your young quarterback use play action off of the run to not make mistakes and hit his checkdowns, you will be 3-2.
Yep.
You throw the ball 50 times and run it 10, your defense is miscommunicating because they aren't working as a unit because there's some disconnect with the coordinator and what's going on the field. I don't understand. And then to answer the factor about Del Rio, I've actually had to admit I was wrong when it comes to Del Rio because at the beginning, because stats-wise, 2 out of 3 years being top 5, injuries happen, things happen, offense been inconsistent, you had an inconsistent play caller. So I've been giving him grace. I've been saying until he get the pieces that he said he needs, which he said he has now, he would be ready to rock and roll, and we'll get that crazy, deceptive, hybrid, havoc-wreaking defense.
Yeah.
All I saw was a bunch of people looking confused and not rushing the quarterback, and the quarterback that is notorious that gave up a 28-7 lead the week before to a team that we had to come back and score from 21 to 3 down to beat. Went out there and looked like he's back in college and throwing the ball around like it's nothing.
Exactly.
So,
and again,
I'm wondering, man. It might be time for him to go because I think he might have done all he can do. He might have gotten into this level, but there's nothing else that he can take it to that next level to get them to the elite defense that we need them to be.
Right. I'll go and say just this right here. I think the game has passed him by. He used to be the guy, the czar of the playbook when it came. When you talked about defensive coordinators, it was Jack Del Rio, it was Greg Williams. Those were the guys that would scheme up stuff, do exotic things. Don't tell me you're trying to help a guy out because you're not in Forbes. The way you help a guy in Forbes be able to play his game is by making sure that by any means necessary, you're getting immediate pressure and not allowing the quarterback to have 6 to 7 to 8 seconds. That's where the secondary is getting gutted at. They're getting murdered because there's too much time. And then he doesn't understand his linebackers because I'm sorry. I love Cody Barton, makes great tackles, but he couldn't cover his crank if his life depended on it. So why you have this man out here trying to cover tight ends and wide receivers? It's disgusting and it's ridiculous and it's absolutely defensive malpractice. Like, I'm tired of seeing this nonsense. And for Ron Rivera to say that there's no reason and we're, 5 games in, look, man, we've seen this story and this book been written 3 times over. Okay? So it's time to do something now. And if you don't, that tells me that that loyalty is going to get you going down with the ship. And he looked like he's ready to just ride it out and go down with the ship because of loyalty. I'm sorry. When I'm trying to win, which he said he was trying to do, remember that? I'm going to win the division. And really, I shouldn't win the division, but I'm gonna win the division because we're about winning. And now all of a sudden it's not about winning. We got some things we gonna work. Nah, this defense been together and he been here long enough. There's only a few other pieces that need to learn. Okay, so what are we doing here? Running the same basic vanilla high school, I won't even say high school, middle school defense. Every coordinator on offense knows exactly what they're going to do because they know exactly where all the big pieces are going to be, and they know exactly what they're going to run. It's been the same thing for 5 weeks.
Well, with the Forbes situation, I'm waiting for someone to bring it up, but no one is. The kid has been dependent on his athletic ability. I don't watch college football, but I do go back and watch tape. And with him being more dependent on his athletic ability, his fundamentals, his footwork are not where they need to be. And these offensive coordinators and these wide receivers study tape.
Yep.
And they know his tendencies. And every time he gets beat, it's on the double move because they know he's anxious and he wants to go for the ball. And he's not trusting his technique and staying with what he's supposed to do because he's a gambler. This is where I'm upset about Del Rio is this is what he should have been learning in training camp.
Yes.
This is where coaching comes in. And the fact that he's still making these same mistakes and they're hoping he catches on, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a Boys and Girls Club defensive coordinator, and I can go out there and tell him what he's doing wrong just by watching him on the game. If they're watching him in practice every day, why isn't someone addressing these things? That's why he's getting beat. As you know, when you watch the tape, he can play ball, but he relies on his instincts and his athletic ability more than his technique. He needs to go in the lab and perfect his craft. That's what he needs to do. That's going to be the number one thing for him, and that's what Del Rio needs to be there to have his cornerbacks coach working with him day in, day out. And he's still going to get reps, but he needs work. And now with Forrest and Reeves out, it's really going to be imperative that everybody does their job and is on point when they're out there. So I started scratching my head against Philly when he kept lining up Forbes on A.J. Brown when last year when St. Juice was up on him, he shut him down.
Yeah. And we saw that once St. Juice got put over there, it was a different ball game.
And that's what I'm trying to understand. I'm starting to get Jay Gruden-esque vibes, man. I'm starting to get Jay Gruden-esque vibes a little bit from EB, from going away from what works and saying what he was going to do and not doing it, because the screen game is very vital. When we've used it, it's been successful.
Yeah.
And like you say, it mitigates the defense being so, because that's what they're doing. They want the young quarterback to beat them. So they're putting 8 in the box and putting run fits to stop the run, which frustrates EB, i.e. Jay Gruden Jr., that if he's not getting 5-6 yards a pop, we got to throw the ball to open it up. No, you got to let them boys run block because our offensive line is learning a new offense. They haven't worked together yet. They're being exploited because teams know that. And how do you help an offensive line? You run the ball. I'm going to say this again. This is my first time on your show. I've said it on my show. I don't know how many times. For the people that don't know, offensive lineman, run blocking is an offensive lineman's friend. Pass blocking is not, because when they go to pass block, as soon as they hike the ball, they have to take a step back in a retreat position. The defensive man gets to go forward and have the momentum, so it's much harder to pass block. When you're run blocking, you're pushing off, enforcing your will on the defensive men, which i.e. wears them down. So in the fourth quarter, you will get those 7, 8, 15-yard runs because the team is gassed. We've seen it happen to our defense for how many freaking years? Exactly. Why is it that they can't go look at the tape and say, well, hey, it works against us? Why don't we try it? I don't know if it's the weed out there, if it's the food out there, if it's the bar being too close to the facility out there, but I'm getting close. I was supposed to go out there last night, but I fell asleep, and Coach Rivera was doing his interview. God must have kept me from there because I still wasn't in the right state of mind. They might have had to take me out of there because I might have said some things that might not have been too polite. But
it's facts.
Yes, it's frustrating as a fan. It's frustrating as someone in the media. It is frustrating as someone that loves and studies football.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
What adds to it is these DC sports media folks don't know how to ask questions about football. So I'm sitting there yelling at the screen at the press conference like, "Cause somebody asked something about football, not about the uniforms of Josh Harris drinking beers with the crowd."
Yeah,
Please.
they won't be. It's TikTok for them. It's TikTok for them. They won't be around here long. Now, when we look to this Falcons game, and I've said this about the Falcons, very sound on offense. We talked about that earlier, but I don't think people give their defense a lot of credit. They in a game against a quarterback in C.J. Stroud that is having a career year so far, no interceptions, didn't have any interceptions in that game. They really lit people up, especially late in the quarters, third and fourth quarter, that second half. They really start to get going. The Atlanta Falcons were able to slow that run game down and basically almost made it anemic.
Yeah, I'm looking at their numbers right now. They're 5th against total yards, giving up 306. They are 7th in passing, only giving up 190. They're 15th, only giving up 104 yards rushing. And they're 10th, only giving up 19 points a game. And the problem for the Commanders, they're 5th and third down conversions. They're giving up only 32%.
Yes.
So this game is definitely going to come down to who sticks to the run the longest. And we've seen Atlanta do it. Right. They have a stud rookie running back. They have a coordinator that's patient, that doesn't mind getting 3-4 yards, to start the game out and then open things up and let your players, get warmed up and get in the flow. And like you say, they have a quality defense that gets better throwing the game because they're running the ball and winning the time of possession battle. Yeah. So they're doing all the things that the Commanders need to do. The question is, can the Commanders do it? We've seen Atlanta do it, but if the Commanders don't do it, let's just say when I'm on FanDuel this week, there won't be any pro Commanders picks be made this week. I'll let you know that.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Man, you saw the Diami Brown joint.
Yes.
I made that bet. It was 11,000 odds. I put down $10 to win 200. He dropped 2 touchdowns.
It was wild, what was going on in that game. And they can't have these drops. You know what I want to see in this game, though, that has been very effective this year, and it's been very quiet, is Curtis Samuel. The way they have been using him with the quick end-around type of handoffs, the innovativeness in using his skill, I've actually deemed him the Swiss Army knife now of this offense. I need to see more of that, because when that happens, then you start seeing one-on-ones for Terry. You start seeing one-on-ones for Jahan. You start seeing open lanes for Logan Thomas to catch balls. And most importantly, and I said this in my show 2 or 3 weeks ago, Brian Robinson is a volume carrier. The more he gets the ball, the stronger he gets. And him saying he feels like himself, it has been showing. Guy's been running over people, bullying over people, but they have to run the ball. And we've talked what you just said about the offensive line, and that we've been talking about that for years with this team, and it applies for everyone. But I feel like if they want to get things going, they've done things with Gibson, but they have to get Curtis Samuel involved.
I agree with them forcing the ball to Terry early. I get it. He got his contract. He's a game-changing wide receiver, but what are you really accomplishing by doing that?
3 and outs.
Exactly. So, like when we started in the beginning, he was mixing the ball up. He was getting the ball to 7-8 different receivers. He might not have had a lot of yards, but completion percentage was high. He was getting the ball out. He wasn't getting sacks. We see the issue now. A lot of folks want to blame the offensive line. I got to get on my podium again real quick because I'm tired of hearing the same people complaining, talking about the offensive line. Like I said, I'm not a Ron Rivera hater. I'm always been somebody in this corner. But when people start talking out their butt, I got to call it. The offensive line, I'm going to say this again. It's the first time on your show. I've said it on my show dozens of times. They were rated top 10 for 2 out of the 4 years he's been here. Injuries decimated the line. Nobody expected Chase Rouillet and five. We went through 5 centers in one season.
We did.
So it's no way.
5.
Yeah, and he's been drafting players. They've been developing. Cosme, draft him as a tackle. He's at guard, haven't given up 1 sack, top rated in the league right now.
Right.
But Leno, the other guys, okay, it's a work in progress. But they say that the line sucks. And then I keep on asking these football folks, if the line is so bad, how is Sam Howell holding the ball too long?
Exactly, because he wouldn't have time to hold the ball too long because he'd be on the ground already.
Exactly. So they have to do some run blocking if he's holding the ball too long. So that's what I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. You can't hold the ball too long, and the line sucks. Obviously, they're holding their blocks. It's just that he's not hitting his read sometimes. He's not trusting what he sees, or he's afraid because he has thrown the ball late, not trusting it and turned into crucial interception.
That was important.
Exactly.
That was important.
He's learning,
throwing it late.
And that's the one thing you can't do.
No. And we saw it get picked off. The pick that he had over the middle, it was because it was late. It wasn't because it wasn't the right read. He was late. And the defender already saw it. He was looking right at him and read it and took it. And that's really been the problem. I don't think the O-line is as bad as people are making it out to be. I think it's the growing pains between a young quarterback trying to find his way, trying to have that clock go off in his head, because he's a guy that is not a run-first guy. He wants to throw it down the field. He wants to extend it and make a play. But sometimes you just have to take what they're giving you. You have to get out of that pocket and get out of there and go and get some yards, do something, or throw it to your check down. And he's learning and going through that process, and sometimes that process gets delayed. So that's just growing pains. But I don't think this offensive line is as bad as people make it out to be.
That's what you call speed of the game.
Yep.
He's used to, when he was in college, you have that extra second to make that read, to stay on that man just a second longer to see if he can get that separation you want.
Right.
In NFL, you ain't got that.
Nope.
It's that if it's not there, go. If it's not there, go. If it's not there, get rid of it. If it's not there, break the pocket, or don't get intentional ground when you throw it away.
Yeah.
And he's still learning that. So that's why I'm not really frustrated at him. My frustration with him is sometimes you just got to throw it away. Sometimes you just got to tuck it. He's been taking too many hits. He's not that big.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not afraid if Brissett come in. I'm not.
But I don't want to see him.
Yeah, I was calling for him in the 4 interception game. After the third one, I was like, nothing else good is going to come from him being out there. Let's see what Jacoby can do. Not saying he's going to spark and come back, but let's see what he can do. We paid for him to be a backup. Let's see what he can do.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a delicate mix between him developing, getting time on the field, and being detriment to the team. I mean, detriment to, the plans of the team trying to move forward and growing pains and such. But I don't see no reason to pull him down. I just say a more balanced game plan and a better strategy. And like you say, mixing in Curtis Samuel, that's when the offense was effective. When you had, even if you're not getting the ball, just the misdirection to keep them off balance.
Exactly.
Because they know that they're learning. They know that they don't know that, and they know it's an intricate offense because he used to run it in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they're using that against us. And EB being in his mode of trying to, I guess, prove a point or show who he is, isn't, in my opinion, using his best football logic when he's calling plays sometimes.
I agree. I think sometimes he's kind of gotten ahead of himself a little bit. And like I said, in that Bears game, I give him a little bit of grace for the simple fact they were down by so much. But again, like you said, we don't want to see him throwing it 40, 50 times a game. That's not a recipe for success. So it's in Atlanta, 1 o'clock start. Who do you got winning this game?
Oh, I didn't know it was in Atlanta. I thought it was home.
It's in the ATL.
That actually changes my thought process a little bit. Because home, I don't know. When they're on the road, most teams when they're on the road, they're more focused because you spending all the time together with the teammates. You're in the hotel together, and you're more focused and more, not worrying about tickets, not worrying about this, not worried about
family,
that. So,
this and that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's going to play in their favor. Can't believe I'm going to probably say this. I've never had to go against my squad. But after that game on Thursday, I don't even have the confidence to give them a win. If they win, I will be pleasantly surprised. If they lose and we see what we saw on Thursday, yeah, it's time to the next day it's time to somebody getting their pink slip. If they put up a so-called good fight, it depends on how the game plays out, how I feel. If they come out effortless like that, then yeah, it's time to somebody got to get their head chopped off by Monday. But I'm going to say it's going to be a close one. Last year we beat them with Brian Robinson, so I'm hoping they're watching the tape from last year. If they do that, then they can pull it off, but I'm going to have to go with the Robbie G logic and go against them and hope they win. I'm going to go with Atlanta in a close one. I'm going to just throw a little flair out there. Ritter gets hurt for a quarter, and Heineke comes in and throws for a touchdown, and Commanders Nation goes in an uproar and splits in the middle about, we should have kept Heineke. And they're going to go burn down FedEx Field.
I can see that. I definitely can see that.
But I think it's going to be a close game. But I think with the recipe that Atlanta's been using and sticking with it and being consistent, I think that's what's going to be the feather in their cap. And with the inconsistency we've seen with this team, I hate to do it, to actually go on record and go against my squad. But I think Atlanta being at home they're going to edge it out, maybe be a 3-point game. I don't get into points and all that. I'm not going to go that far. But I think it's going to be a close game. But because Atlanta's defense is focused and the way they know how to run the ball and stick to it, I think that's going to be the determining factor, unless we see a 180 from this Commanders team.
Right. I think I was going to go 20-17, 20-17 Falcons. If we see what we saw against the Eagles, Broncos, then this team could easily put up 28 points, and it could be a 28-17 ball game. I don't think the Falcons will lay down, but I really do, like you said, with what we've seen on Thursday night, what the expressions I saw on the sideline from the defensive players, in listening to the press conferences. And guys not wanting to throw the coach under the bus, but if you read between the lines, you can kind of understand how they feel about what's going on out here on the field. I don't know if I can have confidence in that defense coming out and doing what's necessary, because I don't have confidence in Jack. And I think that's where the debilitating, that's where their Achilles heel is right now. They were supposed to be the pride and the guys to prop up the offense, and they haven't done that yet. So, 20-17 Falcons for me. I hate to do that, but maybe they turn it around. They have to. If they don't, to me, somebody should have been on a plane. Jack should have been on the plane to his house in Destin, Florida, on the last game after the Bears game. But if it doesn't produce this time and the defense looks the way it did the past 5 weeks, he got to go.
Well, I'm hoping we see the defense we saw in Denver with the 7 sacks on Russell.
Yes, because they have the talent to be able to do so.
Definitely, he had a good game plan there. They were sending folks. They was coming from different spots. I actually gave them applause after that game for the game plan and the strategy. They was doing stunts. They was doing twists. They had some zone blitzes. They was mixing things up. They weren't playing too far off. They was mixing man and zone. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. I was like, okay, we're in the right direction. And then he must have went and hit that crystal meth or something when when some of that stuff we don't know about that that might be coming out, because he had been looking a little wild out there. I don't know. The indictments came down. Maybe it hit him a little hard. I don't know. Maybe once Trump have his first rally, maybe he'll shake out of it or something. I don't know, bro. I don't, like I said, it's the first time in my whole football knowing life that I was sitting there watching it and just numb and not knowing how to feel or what was going on. I felt like a typical fan right there, because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend it. I was just sitting there taking shots, bro. Yeah,
me too. It's unbelievable to watch. Let everybody know where they can find your work and where they can follow you guys at.
Oh, boy. Right now, I'm taking a slight hiatus, but Sports on the Hill is still going strong. Robbie G's running it on Monday nights. You can check out the show check out the website, sportsothp.com. You can check out Robbie's page or Sports OTHP on Facebook, or Robbie Gross on Facebook. He streams it live. I go live with the pregame and postgame show for every Commanders game on my YouTube channel.
Great stuff too. Great stuff.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we actually had an hour and a half postgame after that.
Yeah, it was very good though. Very good stuff, man.
I appreciate it. You can check out my YouTube channel. Just hashtag CP3 with 3 eyes. All of my info will come up. My blogs, my YouTube channel, my websites, my pages. Also check out my business page for Carol Porter, New York Life Agent. I'm now a financial planner, so anyone need any financial services and the life insurance, long-term disability, long-term care, annuities, if you're about to retire, children's college funds, hit me up, sit down, have a conversation. I want to help divorce you from dependency on your income. Helping people and players alike. Yes, sir. It's getting there, baby. I got something to talk to you offline about, man. We got I'm gonna hit you up because God is good, baby. God is good. Yes, sir. You've been working hard though, and you deserve it, man. Hey, appreciate it, man. Love the new show, man. Glad you got it back up and running. Congratulations. I see you got everything, got the fancy graphics and the stuff strolling. So I'm glad we rubbed off on you a little bit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm glad to see, you rubbed off on me in the beginning, helping me get my writing and stuff and get my foot in the door with the sports media. So I'm glad that we're able to contribute something to your brand and what you've been doing for so long to help inspire me, man. So it's always good to see you. When you let me know when you're going to be back up in Richmond, we can at least link up. Absolutely. We got to do it. Yeah, I got some business down there working. So just let me know, man. I'm flexible. My job, I work from wherever I want to. So we got to link up, brother, man. But have a good rest of the show and appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Later. That's Carol Porter, ladies and gentlemen. He does excellent work over there, man. Excellent work. Him, Robbie. I'm on there on Mondays talking Commanders. Usually it will be at about 10 o'clock coming up. It's hockey season, so you know how that goes. They talk hockey first, get that out of the way because their other hockey person is across the pond on the other side of the country, so it's a little late for her. But that's the end of our show. Difficulties that we've gone through and fought through, but we're here, right? That's just part of having a live show. I want to thank, first of all of our guests, Bobby Bennett, Carita Parks, CP3. Thanks for taking the time to come on the show. Thank you all for watching the show, whether you watch the show ahead of time, like right now, or you listen to it on the audio version. Really appreciate you guys supporting the show. It really is an honor. Go to the YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is at the NotBland Show, all together on YouTube. Subscribe. You can find this on all podcasting platforms: Spotify, Google, Apple, and some of the outliers like Pocket Cast. So if you can't watch it, you can always listen to it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this show. I'm Dujane Bland. Obviously, we're powered by SportsJourney.com. And week 3's in the books. I'll be talking to you guys soon.